Hello, everyone. Let's have a little look at Anderson Silva, a guy I've been studying for a long time, from a martial artist perspective, that is one of the people you really look up to. He's he's a mover. He's innovative. He's creative. He's got excellent punching ability, excellent timing, accuracy, speed, all the things that you look out for in a real martial artist. So over that, just pure like, power that some martial artists can have. He's got that finesse, it's backed up with a lot of power as well. So let's take a little look at this little highlight of footage I managed to collect of him. Mostly from a couple of highlight videos that put together themselves, but these were quite a few minutes long. This is all the things I want to look at are in under a minute. So let's have a little look. So initially we're looking at his punching. Now we look at some of his timed knees, how he times his knees and follows them up. How he uses then we look at his evasive work. And that naturally comes into his countering and ability to use his punches with his kicks and how he uses his kicks with his combinations. He has some very unique combinations like this here, unique combination ability. And then he's a little bit of ground and pound, just a little look at it. I didn't put all his best ground and pound in here, but you can have a little look at some of that ground and pound strategy. He goes through a bit of his grappling strategy that I want us to look at, because not known for being a wrestler, but he's got some wrestling tricks which I love. And back from the start again. So let's have a little look at this footage and tell you a few of the things that I look at. So to start, I want to focus on his hands. So if we go frame by frame, what we can see here in this first clip is how he uses his, and we can see this at a better angle later, but he's leaning forwards. Okay, and he's got his right punch out at the minute, but he's going to pull that punch back as he sends out his left strike. Okay, so there we go. So he's got that leaning forward motion with the rotation in the core. Good power comes from that. And this is followed up as he pulls that left arm back, the right arm comes forward. So consider how each punch loads up the next. That real good distance control. He's too far out for Lieben. By landing these punches, he just knows where Lieben is next, and Lieben looks to count now and doesn't really know where Anderson Silva is going to be. So here we get to see a really good freeze frame image. This is really important for looking at strike power, a big move that I like to encourage all martial artists to do is be able to create an angle with momentum and power. So this knee coming out here, that direction that knee's going in, is sending momentum that way. It's sending his weight that way. Okay, so the weight of his hips will go that way too. He's sending his head this way. Where the head goes, everything else goes. That's where momentum is. And the head will also come out a bit here as well to get extra power. So by bringing that elbow out, his power from this elbow to hand will be going in that direction also. But to complete the punch, we want an extension come in and leading to a nice linear punch from that shoulder all the way up to the hand. But that force coming forwards is going to create a lot of power for that end of that punch. And that snap at the end as it extends. So now I've moved a bit. Let's see if we can get one more frame on that. There we go. And we see that nice straight line I'm talking about. Get all the way through that punch. So by moving himself off centre that way, he's giving himself a new line for that punch to come down. It's a new line. And if we go a few frames back, we can see how he stays safe with his head positioning as well. So here we can see he's moved his head, as he's lunged, he's moved his head outside of Patrick Cote's arm. So Patrick Cote's arm's here, and Anderson Silva's moved his head outside of that. Okay, he's taken it just outside of that forearm, which means that any punch that Cote looks to throw at this stage, Anderson Silva can very easily continue to head down the path, and that punch will slide past the head here. The rear hand is preoccupied because Cote's rear hand has got to cover Anderson Silva's punch. He's got to decide whether he tries to deflect it or whether he tries to simply cover up and block it. But Anderson Silva finds a gap down the middle. So the gap down the middle is going to expose things because there's a gap. Pure and simply, there's a gap in here. There's a gap right here to go down the middle, and by taking Anderson Silva's weight where he has, because where Anderson Silva would have been, he would have been coming like in this direction, but he suddenly sent himself off with that knee lunge. Remember, he sent himself off in that direction, which is giving him a different perspective, which allows him to penetrate down that middle here. If he'd come straight down the middle this way, remember, it would be very easy for Cote to read it and deflect. So there we go. So we can see that straight line there. So we can see that straight line coming through that punch. We can see that opening area we looked at before. We can see where his head has come off that centre, and that momentum of movement has come from that knee lunge and how he's continued down that path. And we can see here that line for Cote's arm has gone exactly down that line. So just simply lining yourself up, sending your momentum where it needs to be, gives you that opportunity to expose something. And Anderson Silva doesn't throw these up loads. Modern fighters are, but not as good initial movement. But here, as you can imagine, the momentum's now going in a few areas. So this is what you're not seeing, but the momentum is still going in this direction, and also it is still going in that direction. He's got a choice now. He's very balanced. He's got his weight driving off of that leg and going off in that direction. He's going off in that direction. So he's managed to turn by pulling that shoulder back, sending that one forward, by launching that punch in at that angle initially, which is in line with parallel to this one. Okay, it's parallel to that. But then at the end it extends forward and comes in a straight line here. Okay, so it's using different ways to create momentum and power that come together in a punch. That's the beauty of a punch. That's why it's so hard to measure. Something simple as a punch is very, very hard to measure. The baseball pitch is probably the best thing to look at, but these punches are different to baseball pitch. So while we're here, Anderson Silva also have great, based on that momentum we were going, you have great opportunities here to shoot in for double legs. This maybe come with right hand over the top. Often a bit too much distance here, but then kicks can come around here as openings. Now I don't think it's an opportunity here for Anderson Silva, but there are potential things to think about when you're using this stuff, these step through straights. There you go, that's the real extension at the end. That's the real shot I like to see, really, that real straight line coming down here. Just to highlight that. Chin's best, but it's not a bad shot considering. Look at that extra snap at the end. So that sends that head back. So imagine if you didn't get that. Those of you that finish your shot, some of you finish your strikes like this. Some of you finish your strikes with this shape in the arm. Now it hurts my elbows to fully extend. But what's your excuse? Some of you finish like that. Imagine that. It should be a bump, a little bump in the head. Getting that full extension, you might think it's done there. Some of us might be done there, and you've just, you can see Kore's face here. That's not a bad punch. That's about as far as I can extend my arms based on elbows right now. It needs to be sorted out. Look at this. Look at that extra extension. Even more so. And even more so. Look, that is the difference. Getting that extra follow through on your snap and your whip, that speed as you go through your target, does a bit more. Now, he wasn't close enough to go completely through Patrick Cote's head. If he was, then it would be Might have been a different story. That might have been the shot that does the finishing. But look here, although we don't go to anything else, look at how he's, just that extra frame we see even. Look at how the weight is kind of coming around here. Look at how his weight is coming around there. See that? He's ready to, he could have come with a right hook or something else. Alright, so we've got Nick Diaz. So now we're going to see how we're going to use tighter boxing. Shoulders are up. Shoulders are up higher. And we're going to use the hands to occupy the guard to stop Nick Diaz throwing punches back. Oh, we see a little opening underneath the elbow. Look at that. He saw that opening underneath this elbow here. Yeah, there's an opening under there. Diaz is having a little look. Let his eyes have a little peek through. He can see what Anderson Silva's thinking. He can see it. He had a little peek. And Silva there is thinking, look at his armies here. That can, as his hips come through, that can come up and through here for a vicious uppercut. Well, it takes that hip to come through and he's covered distance. And he's got his own right hand there to shield. So Diaz is aware of that and he brings the elbow straight back down. So Anderson Silva just touches again. Just touches again here. The extra touch means that he can look to set that shot up again, but he just touches with that one. And that makes Diaz want to open up and look for this right shot. So Diaz made a pretty good choice there. Normally in boxing, that would be a really good choice to make. If you see how his arm's loaded. See how he's moving, load his arm up here. Okay, nice strong fist at the end of it. Now this is a strong position where that punch can be whipped in and come across like this way. Bam. But Anderson Silva has the momentum going forward. He has the momentum coming forward right now. And this hand's ready to come straight down and just touch on something there. So it's being first. It's being set first. It's when you're attacking, have the confidence you can land again and be ready to throw it. But obviously, you've got to be out of harm's way at the same time. You've got to be lined up out of the way of them counters. So we see he's lined up straight away. Look at right hand come down the middle. And even though Diaz tries to shut, he bows out and tries to close that guard up. He tries to pull that guard in tight straight away. And Anderson Silva still scores. Not with the same power he might have done when he gets really loose. But he scores a nice punch on Diaz here. Okay, and Diaz has quite a good boxing guard. So that's intelligent. Strike landed. And follows it up again. It's blocked, but he follows it up. Lets him know that you can have a tight guard. Look how tight Diaz's guard is here as well. Just have a little look at that. And just takes control of that situation. Okay, so we've got Yushin Okami. We argue you might have beat Anderson Silva the first time, although it was an up kick knockout. We've got Anderson Silva disqualified. So look at this strike. Okami looks like he's set for the strike first. But if you look at it a little bit lined up now. So I'm going to draw a few lines, even if sometimes these lines don't explain quite as much as we want straight away. They explain a lot. Because Okami's in a decent solid stance. He hasn't got much fluidity about him in this fight. I think he's a bit tentative of Silva. He's built quite block-like. Look at this solid stance. He's ready. His hands are here. He's in a identifiable stance. But he's not covering that. He's looking at Anderson Silva's eyes. Is he looking at what Anderson Silva's got ready? Is he looking at Anderson Silva's arms, which are here? They're ready to attack from the elbows. They're here. They're here. And as soon as he goes to throw at Silva, Silva can throw his straight away while taking head off centre and evading. this punch here. And Silva actually initiates it first, you can see. But it isn't really. So Okami makes the first move, but and Silva's like anticipated it. So as soon as his hand moves a little bit, and Silva's hand here moves quite a lot. Yeah, it's there first. He's got more conviction in that shot. So he's just there. He's up. He's inside of it, and he's set for more momentum now. He's travelling. Here, he's got a shoulder ready to pop forward. Yeah, knees driving forwards a bit. And hips are ready. This elbow's pulling back. That's someone who's relaxed, loose, and ready to whip that in. And Okami's not looking set like that. He's just not set. You see, the punch has landed first from Silva. Okami's shut his eyes on this one. Almost looks like he's going to land his own punch here, but Anderson Silva's landed first. His head moves out of the way. The shoulder helps deflect that punch a bit as well. Look at that. It's just perfectly lands and sends Okami down. Look at that as well. That's putting down that shot. That really relaxed shot from the lead hand, remember? That momentum to whip that in and snap it into the chin is put Okami down. And Silva's not built like a powerhouse. Here goes another one. Look at that. I love that. It's not just turn the hips. It's how he propels his weight forward. That's what I really like. How he propels his weight forward, like someone who's about to launch something. Okay, so this shoulder's going to come forward. This hip's going to come forward. Okay, he's not just going to turn on the spot. There's a wide base between the legs here. So Connery says, "Oh, I've got a wide base." Sometimes you say, we look at the pros and cons of all your stances, all your bases. Sometimes a wide stance doesn't work best for boxing, but it can be utilised. It's about changing your stance up at different times and optimising what you've got. But you see how he generates his power into this beautiful straight punch. Okay, so then we've set. The hands come up. So coming to this position now, he's still ready. He's lunged in ready to come. He can come with his punch in many more ways. He's got it cocked up now. Yeah, he's got it as good as chambered. Yeah, it's near his chin, so you can see where it is. You can see where he wants to go with it. The shoulders in line with it. You can see he's all set for that, and not only that, his hip can come through a lot more. He can turn on the spot here, but that hip can come through, and he can really extend on that. Keeping your eyes on the target means you can redirect that punch last minute as well, and bring that leg through as a technique. Obviously, I say obviously, but Conor McGregor uses that. What I was saying about them hips slowly ready to come forward, as he almost ends up leaning forwards at the end of that, as he's kind of tilted forwards here, and as we can see, that hip's going to come forwards here. He can pick his shot rather than send that punch through straight. He's able to read where Nate Marquardt is moving and send his punch over this way. So while his weight is kind of going over here, he's made to redirect his punch and use enough of that momentum to put enough power on it. And using that leg, this leg that's going to come through naturally because of the hip coming through, that force sending that body over there, that hip coming through, means he can use that smartly and plant that leg to follow it up. So here's the leg coming through now. Here's that leg coming through. And we go to the next one. But it ends up, he steps in here and he's set to follow that up. And as you've got to think of as well, with your follow throughs on your punches, where does that put your footwork to next? Okay, so now we start getting into the knees. Now it gets a little bit exciting. Well, not that the punches aren't exciting. But here we go. As we get the hands up higher, That's going to make certain people strategizing for you come down low for takedown, and that weight goes up. So his weight's going forwards again. He's taking his weight up and higher to make Carlos Newton think about coming underneath for takedown, and Anderson Silva sent his weight. From that moment, he's driven off of this leg to go straight up, allowing that knee to just be whipped in however he wants to whatever target he sees fit. Very similar to what you saw with Ben Askren getting knocked out very recently. So let's have a little look at that knee. Beautifully timed knee. And then we get to see as well how Anderson Silva follows his up. That turns in straight away, eyes on the target, eyes on his target straight away. Hand, this is what Luke applied in his last fight. Get a hand on your target straight away and start picking and ground and pound shots. So frame by frame, the refs come in with these accurate strikes, and he does get one more in now, which probably isn't needed. Or even another one that's not needed. But he pounced in pretty quick. So now we're going to see the frame control. So he's got the right arm underneath the armpit on the head, left hand on top there. So we've got nice frames working, and we're going to see the knees work, which can come to the head or the body. Here he comes underneath. Okay, so consider this control as well when you're visualising. Underneath the arms. That's underneath the arm there. And his arms over the top. And you've got them beautiful frames working. Yes. Pulls the drop. So I like this one. Again, it's that motion of make it look like you come in higher when someone's a grappler and they want to take you down. Make it look like you come in higher, that you're going to come up and attack the power up here, and that makes your opponent who's looking for opportunity to take you down to come underneath. So this, look at that, even after the lunge, the takedown comes after the lunge. Look at his positioning. That's beautiful positioning. You see the power of Anderson Silva there. And then how that knee's come forward. And look at that knee, please. Look at how he's positioned that body up. It's there. Straight through to his target. Let's get Anderson Silva's one in green. Let's pick his target on that one very nicely. Okay, so a little bit of wrestling now. He's got takedowns when he needs them. But at the end, see how he tries to keep hold of the ankle? That's an important detail to consider. Like when he hit the floor, Stephan Bonner here is very ready to get back up. He's very ready to get back to his feet here. But not that Anderson Silva keeps this held for a very long time. He's holding with his right hand the heel. And you'll see he loses it, but he's holding it. And that's enough there. See, it's up in the air. He has to pull it out, Stephan Bonner. See there. So Stephan Bonner has to pull that hand out. So he has to pull that foot out of the hand this way, which stops him putting it straight to the floor and using that to get straight back up to his feet. Because he's in a slightly better position than Anderson Silva to get back up. But that's enough for him to have to put his weight into his backside here, feet up in the air. And these little things that make the difference in the middle of a fight. And Anderson Silva managed to get his weight a little bit more forward here. Weight's on his hand. He's already got a hand out. He's already thinking about throwing out that hand. This knee's coming up. He's pushing off his toes. He's pushing off here. Anderson Silva is set and ready to follow him up. This is now, if you look at this scenario, what it was a moment ago, it is not what it is right now. So Anderson Silva have to work this takedown, but losing a bit of distance. As Bonner looks to recover, he doesn't, and then that extra distance, that spot here, from them being here now, that extra distance has changed the whole game. And that means Bonner is out of position to get back to his feet. Look, he pulls his knees in, that's the turn. He knows, he's aware that Anderson Silva had his weight all ready to come his way. Now, he's even more ready. He's pushing off his leg even. He's helping drive off that leg. He's driving off. He's not in a rush. Look at his face, he's calm. He's in a hurry, but he's going to approach calmly. He doesn't want to run and sprint right past him. He wants to get to Bonner and get an angle where he can land some secure punches. Anderson Silva's going to approach calmly. Look at that calm face, methodical. He wants to step and get the angle. So right now, he doesn't want to step and be round the back of Bonner. See, he takes a little step to his right. Now he's got an angle he wants. Now he's thinking, oh, he's got an idea. Now he's thinking, let's plant his hand and let's use that right punch. And by the way Bonner's come up here, the way he's come up, Anderson Silva thought with his instincts in a split second moment, remember, that Bonner's going to come up round here. And that would leave, as his hips come around this way. And Anderson Silva assumed that that would leave him a great opportunity to plant the hand and bring a nice uppercut in. Okay, but you see that Bonner keeps his head out of the way. So I think here, easy to say when I'm slow mowing it down, at this stage here right now, if you had a chance to think twice, I think right now it's got to be the straight. It's got to be this shot here in a straight line there as this pulls back. Okay, or you can even keep that hand on. If that hand's in a good spot, keep that hand on. But if you want to pull that arm back and send that right hand in, that straight punch would have been beautiful. As you can see here, look, imagine that straight punch coming down straight for the target here. That would have been the shot to go for. But regardless, the uppercut comes in. And he keeps his position. He misses it, but look at this. Look at the body language. Look what we've created here. If you look, it's all about what you land in the fight. It's how you're set. And sometimes I just like to do these little lines, which might seem pointless to some people, might seem like waste time, but it gives you an idea, especially those that get into movement, how he's set, how he's ready. Okay, look, that is someone who's set, ready, in position. And Bonner's not. Still sprinting him down. Look, the other uppercut's looking for. I think Bonner's well out of position. So Anderson Silva gets his stance narrow. And what does he do when he gets his stance narrow? He does the same thing a lot of the time. He sets himself to jump. Yeah, he sets himself to have this power here. But his momentum's still coming forward. He's sprinting forward. His momentum's still coming forward. But he's set to jump. And as he switches stances and jumps, that knee is going to be what comes through. Bonner's got this guard in here, but I don't think this guard anticipated knees. It's quite well. Yeah, it's a guard that's really considering what Anderson Silva might throw next, which is punches to the head, kicks to the head. But in the moment, Anderson Silva switches, jumps up. We've gone offline, but we see the same momentum. We see the same stuff going on. Yeah, he's jumped from this foot straight up. Momentum was coming forward, and that knee's whipped in here to the solar plexus. And that's the result of that. That's the result of that. We did hit the solar plexus. So early on in the fight, we saw a bit of evasive movement. So right now, we're looking at evading the spinning back kick. So as the kick comes around the back here, it's going to penetrate to Anderson Silva's body. So as we see the rotation from Bonner. Yeah, Anderson Silva's going to identify that early. Anderson Silva's looking at the hips, which tells me everything he needs to know at this stage. So if you look at where Anderson Silva's looking, he's looking Here you can see the footwork, you can see the hips, and you can anticipate what's going. So if the spinning back kick's coming this way, he's going to want to read that early and create travel to his right, which I wouldn't recommend going head first with. It's good to go the legs. So if you open that knee out first, then the hips will follow. And then the head can follow. Or as long as you step out, the head can go and the hips come out, and then you can circle around and counter as you want. So you see the knee first, and the hips go sideways. That knee comes out first. Here. Okay. So if we look at the positioning now, we found Anderson Silva in. You can see this line here. He's tilted, but he's balanced. Got a good bend in that leg. By stepping that foot out means he's kept his head will be over his foot still. His head's not gone over that foot, and he's got a nice straight line, which means he'd be very much set for a counter. If he's in that kind of mindset, he doesn't really counter from these positions as much as he could have done. But a different athlete with similar abilities could well be thinking about countering straight away, or at least moving his body weight around here more to set up the counter. But we don't continue this one, but he just resets position and tries to play mind games with Bonner after this, if you remember the fight. So he angles around, so he stays relaxed there, as if to say, I read that, I read you, I controlled the fight, and he was happy just to take control of the fight in terms of the mind games. Okay, so some evasive movement now. So it's reading that punch come in and taking the head off centre. That we look at a lot. See, out of the way. And when he does this, he creates good momentum. So this isn't where he counters, but to help you guys think about your counters, as the head comes over this way, it's coming this way. This bend he's got in his body as well means he's always ready in these situations to send punches like bump straight up here. Nice and relaxed, but very effective. Okay, but here he doesn't necessarily do that. He just circles around here. But you can see where his momentum was going, and that allowed him to circle around there and get that perspective. And hands up again. The mind games. This thing of getting inside your opponent's head. Before Anderson Silva was getting worked out by modern opponents, that is often what he got the advantage in. Easily evading that one. Diaz. Just to pull back, just a generic pull back. Used for Muay Thai kick defense a lot of the time. Way out of the way of that one. Evades. Yeah, I like this one because just before he'd done this, he went into a zone where, and Silva goes in his zone where he gets alert for like periods of maybe 30 seconds at a time, sometimes 10 or 20 seconds. You can't maintain that focus for the whole fight. There's mental fatigue as well that comes along with physical fatigue. But this alertness means that he reads everything that comes. It's something that I try to study a lot as a martial artist. When you think about being in a heightened state of having to defend yourself in any scenario, and when I'm trying to get in the mindset of guys I'm coaching and what they've got to do when they perform and how I want to peak their performances, that I really like to get the sports psychology side of it and the biomechanics side of it are areas which I find absolutely interesting, and I'm very, very deep in my own initially research and then exploration. So I like to consider how each individual applies it uniquely and how I can learn the most from that and apply it into martial arts concepts. So here, Anderson Silva is dipping, fade a punch. As the kick comes, look, he's just typically you shouldn't do that. Yeah, that's typically not how you dip for boxing. I mean, I encourage it sometimes, but this is not what's encouraged from the straight backs of boxing, which would say bend your legs. In boxing, they would say bend your legs, but keep a straight back. Okay? But this works, especially with kicks coming, you think it'd be even more important. But here, what Anderson does, he dips that shoulder, he faces his head away, and he absorbs that kick over the back. look at them little movements, how he reads it as well. It's like it's not just doing the technique; it's timing it just right for the kick. See here, and that kick literally slides off the back. That kick just slides up the back, almost like it's caught better than a pad man or catcher kick on a pad. It completely slides up. Nothing, no connection at all. It's completely unsatisfying kick for Rich Franklin. And Anderson Silva is like in that matrix zone right now. Look at, I don't recommend you guys emulating this too much. Now we all love to sometimes have a bit of fun. But that's someone standing like they're in matrix zone. That's someone who believes yeah. Don't think see what I see. That's someone just standing there, confident, ready. An extra dip to. Here you go. So why did Chael Sonnen do this after nearly beating him in the first fight? He's looking right in the first round. This too. So I suppose what he thought was, we've got enough of this at the start to see, is after throwing the left, yeah, he thought that Silva was going to travel a certain way. Yeah, and he thought that he would be able to catch him with his spinning elbow as he circles around. He thought he was going to encourage Silva to circle this way by chasing down with that left, and he'd be able to put his spinning technique in and catch him with the spinning technique. But Anderson Silva, although he sends his body this way, I should put him in green really. Although he sends his body this way and his head that way, he's kept his leg based all over here, and this leg is loaded. So he's very capable to adjust his weight back beyond what. So he's very capable of bringing his head back under that way and bringing his weight back that way as well. Which was to something surprise here. It threw him off so much he really believed Silva was going that way. So see where I've left that there where his foot was. That's where Chael Sonnen thought he was going to be standing still. If anything, travelling around that way. And he thought as Anderson Silva circled that way, he would chase down and catch him with that, but no. Completely got thrown off of it. And you can see here the complete outreading the situation of sending his momentum there, led him just tripping. And then, look at this, composed, and Silva follows him up. Right, so we've got to look at the front kick. One of the first times that we've seen it in MMA, if not the first time, properly landed, definitely in UFC. Against Vitor Belfort, absolute legend in his prime. So the front kick here, we see going straight up to the chin with a real snap at the end of it. Vitor thought this was coming to the body clearly. And that snap and extension at the end cause Vitor to drop. So a technique worth having in your arsenal. People more savvy to it now because of this. But you want it in your arsenal, and you want defensive it to your arsenal. And you want your snap and your whip on your front kicks. And you want to hit the front side kicks to the head, without a doubt. Okay, so kicks being used in the middle of a combination. So against Dan Henderson, you might think throwing a kick leave a takedown. But look, if the kicks don't land smoothly, look, he's disrupted the punches here. Just by disrupting the punches and putting a shin across the body, he's keeping distance control and disrupting the offense. See a little extension in the kick. Even if it doesn't land with a whip and a follow through, he doesn't bail on the technique. I hope you can see this here, how he pushes. And that allows him here, he's set in a position now. This is what you got to consider, putting someone out of position and putting yourself in a position here. This is someone who looks ready. And there he goes, he sets himself and puts in that first punch straight away. Again and again, just evades these ones and misses that kick. Again, using that kick. So support his work. So by support his work, when he's landing these strikes, he's circling off to. He's causing Chris Lieben to chase him now by, as he's countering, and Silva is circling off around this way. Okay, I'll keep it in the same colour now, but Lieben's coming in this way. And Silva's picking him apart, accurate shots. And then when he sets himself here, he's set for a kick, so he lets that kick come. When Lieben could be coming at him, the kick comes first, just to let him know, I'll throw whatever's there. And then we're going to land and get in a trademark. And here we are. So here, this is where his face says it, but his body is about to get in line. Where he'll be leaning forwards. Legs will be set so he can drive forwards off the legs. And then he'll be in a position where, from that position here, the punches can come as they need to, as this turns. You've got that power to come from both sides in a push and pull manner. As this drives in, this one pulls back. As this one drives in, this one pulls back. And we're leaning forwards. We've got a bounce, we've planted with bounce, we're loose, and then we're going to fire off them two big punches. There we are. I'll clear that away now. That leaning forwards, look at his face, and he's set, he's leaning forwards again. I've got to draw this line again. Look at how he's set there. And then this is ready. On the chin. And that one snaps in. So he's not landing by power, just by chance. Accuracy's there, but he's setting himself up. He planted them feet. And he follows that up. And it drops Chris Lieben. Unorthodox combinations. So this is why it's fun to get creative. Who else does a lead jab? Lunges round. So let's look at that footwork here. So by coming that jab, we've got the momentum again. So we've got to keep talking about the momentum that comes from that front knee. That front knee momentum is a big deal. So that knee's coming in this way. That's going to give the momentum it needs to circle round this way. He's going to bring both feet in. So this foot will come in as the other one comes in as well. So it's almost like a shuffle round, like a sidestep motion. So look at the footwork now. But as he does that, he tucks this shoulder in, putting this elbow back. So not many people set up, but he's looking to set this up elbow through the guard, which does fall a little bit short. Bear in mind he steps here. He's got potential for it to come up. Diaz has an alright guard and evades. So you see Diaz himself is stepping back right now. Because Anderson got inside that, but Diaz stepping back himself. He means he clears enough distance for that up elbow to not quite have the range it needs. Okay, so before you can see before that elbow gets a chance to land. If you look at the feet here, so Diaz's foot is inside. Just before elbow has a chance to land, he gets his foot outside. And only just misses him. It only just misses him. But Anderson Silva doesn't see that as job done. Anderson Silva sees that as He's still got momentum coming this way. He's still got this leg cocked back here. You know, this hip is open. And, you know, he's pretty much on the ball of this foot. And also he's crunched in this side. By being crunched in this side means he set more powerful things to come this way. So although we wouldn't think an up elbow, a technique doing this would create power something round afterwards. He uses that to put a round kick in, regardless of what power comes with that. Here. See, that's the power it comes from. And he's put himself into a nice, recognisable position to finish the combination of a kick. You can see Dio's face here. He's like, he's half laughing. He's half like, what's coming next? Because you don't feel particularly comfortable when you're getting caught with combinations you don't normally see. You know, I like to show the faces. It says a lot. But this kick landed nicely to the leg. That probably wouldn't have been severely damaging, but he would have felt it. Diaz would have felt it. And Silva took control of a very nice combination. Okay, so this is back to where we saw Xiaoson slipping. And once he slipped, he was stuck on the floor. If you made a move to get up, you know Anderson Silva likes to stalk. So he makes the decision to try and cover up and go from there. And the ref was in the way, but that knee landed to the solar plexus. And oh, here we go. It lands. It's a legal shot because he's down, but it's knee to the body. The solar plexus, that little region. Those that don't know about it, you've obviously never been hit there properly. Just at the bottom of, underneath the sternum, just underneath the diaphragm. And Anderson made sure his weight was going forwards into this one. Look, that knee is driving down. He's got under the guard and driven that knee straight through. Look, that foot tucked in, so it's driving straight in. He's pushing off that back leg here. And his weight is sinking down into that as well, so he's got his weight driving into that. And the hip switching helps. Sinks into that. Okay, so a little bit of ground and pound. So once there's a position to finish, he just takes it. He gets hold of you and he takes it. Repeated punches again. Always covering that top leg. So even though it might not seem like he was covering that top leg, so right now he's holding the foot here, trying to stop a roll. And having the weight on top of, we can't underestimate the impact of keeping weight on top of that leg here. Because if that leg can get free and start being used as hooks, that can find ways out. So just by having the weight on top of that leg, just by having that hand posted here, that allows the opportunities for continued accurate ground and pound to come into play. So I really like these wrestling transitions that he uses. So someone shoots for a takedown, you can get lower. There's a bit, it looks like slightly blind takedown, and the hands are quite high because obviously wary of Anderson Silva's strike power. But as we're here, Anderson Silva decides, as he's driving in, the best bet is to drop low and get in underneath. See, that head's low, that head's lower, and that sinks in underneath. And then you've got your own counters. So that's those that have been hitting their wrestling. Use that knee, being grabbed onto here. By tapping that knee, bring that in. And we're both draw that in that way. And we've got a nice drive off that leg, and we've got power off this leg where it's loaded up. So here we're going to see Anderson Silva draw that knee in round that way, and he's going to turn, he's going to drive round this way to get the takedown. Nice, and he just drags that bottom leg before I cover it with too many. So as he's drawn that knee in this way and turn the hips around that way, he's kept a good grip here as he drives and use that head to drive in. And this leg, this has got to kind of come out the way now. It's helped him turn and might have helped him trip, but it's not had to act as a trip in this one. Here, lands on the leg. That's a perfectly comfortable position to land in. Now, it might seem a bit awkward for some, but that's fine. And he keeps hold of the legs to drive on top and get the hip pressure. Okay, so another good one. If someone's on a single leg with you, try and drive it down. Hook inside on their single leg. So this is something that it's a technique that Connie uses. A few of you use it, but I know for a fact Connie uses it. And Silva's hooked inside that leg and got a good tight grip of that. So as Anderson Silva turns in, so he's looking in, he's driving his shoulder in, and he's going to elevate up there to make Mark quite down. We probably thought we had better resting than Silva coming into this, but it makes Mark Quite's head drop, makes his hips go up, and as Anderson Silva pivots, it's going to send Mark Quite down as he gets countered for a takedown. Actually here, it's a slightly different variation, but it's the same stuff happening, but Mark Quite lost his grips, as you can see. He's lost his grips, so it doesn't make it as easy for Anderson Silva to make his shoulders drop, but he's still in great position. Yeah, so this means he ends up coming out in a slightly different position. He still gets on top by getting his head on top first. Give him a significant advantage there, getting on top. And then you get ground and pound straight away. So here's what I say about controlling the top inside leg. There's a control. So that's preventing that leg being used to push Anderson Silva away at the hip. It's being prevented from using that and putting away and doing an up kick here. It's preventing him from using that foot and hooking it side this knee or this knee to create elevation. It's preventing him from shooting a leg over either one of Anderson Silva's hips to try and attack the leg. So it's quite a distraction. So having that here is allowing Anderson Silva to disrupt Mark Quite, who's really limited where he can rotate. He can start to look to maybe rotate underneath here, but Anderson Silva will simply adjust. He can adjust, he can step. He's got to hold that hand, and he can pick his nice straight uppercut punches here, very composed, and just whips them in without any rush at all. So now decides to cover up, which might be a smart option here. He covers up, the ref stops it. And then we're back to the beginning. So maybe we have a little run through. As I say, working out exactly what you guys want to see, how you want to see it, how you want to hear it. It's not I'm going to let it form over time. I don't want to... I believe in the studies that we do, and what we're looking at, and how we form it together for the sake of the syllabus and the individual learning. But through this time, you guys can give me feedback on what you find really, really helpful. Okay. So when you're looking back at this clip, see if you can see a few extra details. I'll let it play through twice. And I'll say goodbye and get ready to see you guys live in half an hour now. Right, so I enjoyed doing that. So I've recorded this for you guys. I'll put it in the group, so when you see this, it'll be in the group. And if we like what we're doing, then I might crop and edit the videos over time to illustrate the points that we're working out. But before I think I'm in a position to start cropping, editing, and drawing in all the little details that people want to see, give me feedback on what you find most helpful, and over time I'll produce something of the kind. And if you think there's some details in this one you'd like me to go over more, then maybe I can make a shorter, more condensed video on that. But in the meantime, I can just share with you some of the things I'm looking at, and I'm just highlighting a few points based around well, they're really important points and they're really big points. So I don't want to downplay it. Like, using your ability in the moment to set your body up loaded for power. Loaded for power where you're balanced and you're poised and you're ready to strike. And that might be something that comes within your first couple of years of training. But if you, from the early stages, work on your movement, work on your timing, work on your accuracy, if you work on your flow, if you study fighters like this and look at those ideas from like Anderson Silva, Adesanya, Conor McGregor nowadays, and you practice your counter striking when you've got someone to practice with, if not, it has to be shadow countering and visualize it, then you can really get skilled at this stuff. But while we're looking at people with such awesome evasive guards, make sure you've got a good tight guard as well. I do want to make sure you can take any punch, any kick by standing your ground and blocking it and taking it and reading it. But I also want to see, especially for my most talented martial artists or the most committed, really getting into moving your body this way and creating power and moving people into things like, we didn't go into loads. If I had Forrest Griffin footage on here this time, I would have gone into that more. Moving people into your punches, moving people into your kicks. It's a concept easier said than done, but when you start to play the game and not rush and not try and just impose yourself straight away, when you accept what the other person's doing and how they're moving, that you might have to take your time and set them up with something. Once you accept that and that part of the game, then you open yourself up to a completely different world of martial arts. Okay. Thanks everyone. Cheers for watching. I hope you get a couple of useful pointers. Love to hear anything you see, anything that you see Anderson Silva does that maybe I didn't see. Anything you want me to look at more. Anything you've applied to your game so far, or anything you think after watching this you might want to apply to your game a bit more so, I'd love to hear about it. Cool. Speak to you soon.